Hey, good morning. This is George Moorhead with Bentley Properties, and this is for Hannah and for Mark and for Janice. And this is a media press release for what we're seeing in the real estate market here in the Puget Sound area. So the numbers and the statistics that you're going to be seeing will be with combination with Trend Graphics, a company that we partner with regarding real estate statistics and the Northwest MLS. The numbers that we're going to talk about today are going to be year over year for March, and then of course month over month from March and February. Now, it's for residential sales only. I did not include any of the stats with condos, vacant land, manufactured homes, just looking at single family only throughout the Northwest MLS. So as you know, from Bellingham, and that will take you all the way down to the Tri-Cities, and then of course over in Chelan and Wenatchee. So if you would like something that is more specific, like either on the east side in Everett or Snohomish County, maybe just the Seattle core areas, we can go ahead and send you an updated report, which will be very similar to the one you're going to receive with this video. And it's going to give you all of the metrics and everything that we are basically getting these numbers from, because accuracy is important, right? With that, I'm going to provide you some personal comments just as we kind of go through things. So as many of you know, I've been practicing for about 27 years. Each of you have either interviewed or we've had conversations, and or you have published remarks of things that I've said when I was a board of director with the Northwest MLS for 2 terms, and of course with the King County Association of Realtors. So with that, let's get into things and let's talk a little bit about what's going on. So when we take a look at homes for sale, that's all of the homes that are currently for sale today. And again, only dealing with residential. So we've got a year over year, we are down 22.6% for homes available today. Month over month, we're actually up 23%, which is not unexpected because we're still starting to see some of the increase in activity as homes are coming on market. But as we all know, buyers are, they're seeing a little bit of a drag as far as showings and then consumer confidence. We are starting to see less pended sales, what we've seen, from November, December, January, and February, we're starting to see that lag. So our inventory is up 23%, but yet again, down 22.6% year over year. As far as pended sales, that is an accurate number, kind of like the number of homes that are for sale. And we're actually down 4.5% year over year, but we're up 23% month over month. And that's going to be really interesting to monitor as we look at the end of April numbers, albeit we monitor it on a day-by-day, month-over-month, progression, just so that we can start looking at trends. We have faster metrics, hence why we use the tools at Trend Graphics. All right, now remember, when we talk about sold homes, we're always looking in the rearview mirror, because if we look at a home that sold in March, we're looking at something that went under contract in, like mid-January, and we'll see that through February. And then, of course, as we see our 20, 30-day, 40-day closings, that's when we will actually realize that sold. In other words, where a buyer and a seller mutually agree and the transaction is closed, right? So the actual solds year over year are down 2.9%, all right? And we're up technically 21.6% month over month. But again, that's looking in the rearview mirror. So when we take a look at even mid-April, when we see our numbers, those numbers are going to probably flip-flop, again, because of all of the restrictions, for being able to go out. Even though we can go out, that is going to carry through to the end of April, which means that we're just going to see an absolute fall off on numbers, my humble opinion. All right, you guys probably nodding your head, yes. Here's an interesting thing. So days on market, that means from the time that a home is listed till it goes under contract or a pended status. So days on market are actually down 10 days month over month. which is awesome. But interestingly enough, it's actually 12 days less on market year over year. Will that change? Yes, I think we're going to see a swing going the other way as that starts to head in an upward trend as homes stay on market longer. We're not looking at as many homes. Not as many homes are going to be going off market. With that, our average price for sale is actually down 1.3% year over year, and it's also down 4% month over month. Okay, not a big deal. People are already being more price sensitive as they're coming on market. Even though we have seen a steady increase during the the November, December, January, it started to taper off in February a little bit as the coronavirus was starting to come to kind of more point of concern. Definitely through March, that was a point of concern. So sellers that are coming on market are being more competitive and not an uncommon practice. So when we take a look at the average solds, meaning that, again, a buyer and a seller mutually agree, we have a sales price, okay? So the average, not the median, the average, which is a number I prefer and is the one I'll always use, the average sold price is actually up 10.8% year over year, and it's up 3.7 month over month. So we're still seeing that lag again because we're in the rearview mirror of those numbers still looking pretty good. Now, again, at the end of April and May, we're going to see I think a considerable reduction in that, and we're going to see some numbers start to flip-flop. Total months of inventory is 1.5 months of inventory right now. We were at 0.9 months in January, and now we've progressively been increasing in inventory. Again, it's been happening. It is normal for this time of year. For as we head into the spring market, we've seen a significant number of new homes coming on market as expected. However, that is going to start changing. I do anticipate seeing people tapering off, albeit, we saw a bunch of homes coming on market today. We saw a number of pended and, of course, closed transactions happen just in the last day or two. And again, business will continue. It always will. However, it is just going to be mitigated significantly. All right. So what should we expect? Well, dramatically lower numbers in April and May. That is going to be a given. Homes will still be coming on market. Yes, we're still going to see that activity. We're going to see longer showing times since there's a restriction of the agent plus one can only be in the house. The agent always has to be in the house, or what we call brokers now, but most people understand it as agents. Agent has to stay in the house, whether it's an inspector, whether it's a buyer, okay, whether it's a seller, whether it's the photographer, okay, whether it's a staging person. So technically, that is the gubernatorial requirement that agent plus one. So people will be swapping in and out. It's going to take a longer process, but it's going to be a safer process as we hope to see the conclusion of the coronavirus and then, of course, then the recovery of our market. All right. With that, you're definitely, without a doubt, seeing buyers pulling back. Not only pulling back because of the fear that, are they going to have a job? And fear because they feel that the economy is heading downward. Fear just the overall general, oh my gosh, is this, I don't want to say Armageddon, but, basically, we've never experienced anything like this. And so there's a lot of fear factor that comes on that. And in fact, we saw a significant number of homes coming back on market. What does that mean? That means that we have a buyer and a seller that agreed to a home, have mutual acceptance, it goes into a pending status, and then that sale fails, boop, and it's back up, what we call back on market. And we have seen a significant jump of homes coming back on market, both in residential, condo, and in multifamily, which is really interesting because we saw 6 of the multifamily units coming back on market today that we actually had originally expressed an interest in, and now it's kind of like, okay, even our clients are like, hang on a second, I want to cool off, for a few months. We have a guy named Ken, he's looking at a couple of $1 million multifamily building. He's like, you know what, George, I'm pausing myself for the next 4 months. Hey, I totally get it, right? Nobody wants to buy a building and, tenants are not going to be paying rent and it just becomes a potential financial hardship. All right. With that, prices, I expect list prices to continue in a downward trend, and I expect average sales prices heading in a slightly downward trend. I do anticipate cash will be king again. I think you are going to see some of your investors out there, even though there's a lot of forgiveness with mortgages and as an example, Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank, B of A, they give you a 90 days, 3 months, and don't report to the credit reporting companies. And they evaluate it after that to help people. Same thing with utilities. There's no shutoffs. As you all know, we can't do evictions right now. And so it's a very unique, very dynamic thing. It'll be interesting to see what shakes out of this. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Absolutely enjoy leading with generosity, giving you guys some good information. If you have any questions, give me a call, 206-391-7766, or just reply to my email. Anyway, have a great day. Stay safe.